the Barley Life meeting?
Yes.
Well, welcome. Just follow the signs down the hallway, take a left to the elevator, and press 3 and go up upstairs, and you'll see the signs there that'll lead you to the room.
Thank you.
Good evening. I'm so glad you could come this evening. First of all, I want to thank Ann Elkins, the administrator of the estates on Lake Granbury. She's been so accommodating and has allowed us to use this beautiful living room for our meeting tonight. Thank you, Ann. I'm Jann Abrams, and on behalf of my husband Stan and we want to welcome you to the meeting tonight. Our speaker is Janet Pauly, a registered nurse. She and her husband were classmates of my husband's in college a few years ago. Janet had a devastating experience with cancer in the 80s. And because of what she went through, we have learned some things that aren't taught to nurses and doctors in nursing school and medical schools. I'm a former hospice nurse and my husband an emergency room physician. Between us, we have seen many people in various stages of illness. Our focus now is trying to encourage people in healthy living in order to avoid hospice care and emergency rooms. We believe that incorporating the AIM products into the day-to-day diet is an easy way to provide our bodies with the nutrients they need. And for those who want to change from an unhealthy lifestyle, the AIM products allow them to make a U-turn almost overnight. For those of you who have never attended an AIM Barley Life meeting before, and those of you who have, we hope you will enjoy the meeting and perhaps learn a few new things that will help you on your journey to better health and more energy. Please give a warm welcome to our good friend, Janet Pauly.
Thank you, Jann. It's so nice to be with you here tonight. I want to tell you a little bit about my journey that has brought me here. It all started in 1972 when I began having intermittent abdominal pain that was very severe. When I got the pain, I couldn't walk or move. At first, I only had the pain maybe once a year, but then it became more often. And it would feel like there was something moving in my abdomen just prior to the onset of the pain. And the pain would last for 5 or 10 minutes, and then it would go away as suddenly as it had begun. And after the pain was gone, I had no abdominal tenderness or soreness at all. Naturally, I saw many doctors about this pain, but no one thought it was anything serious. In 1980, I was working in charge of an intensive care unit. As the pain became more frequent, I went to a surgeon whom I worked with, and I knew that he was an excellent diagnostician, and he was also a good friend of mine. I described my pain to him, and he said, "Janet, in 40 years of practicing medicine, I have never heard of a pain like the one you describe." He says, "It may be the little umbilical hernia that you have, but I don't think it's anything to worry about." As time went on, I became very tired, and my fatigue quickly worsened. Then I began having low back pain that would come on in the afternoons. I went to my internist for a physical. I went to my gynecologist. I even went to a urologist. All of them could find nothing wrong. My internist thought it was just maybe the stress of working in an ICU that was causing my fatigue. I had been working for several years in charge of the intensive care unit when I got the pain one day as I was leaving the hospital. And as usual, I couldn't move or walk. This was the first time the pain had ever come on me while I was at work. And this was very alarming to me because we had cardiac patients in our ICU. And when one of them developed a dangerous heart rhythm or a straight line, I had 4 minutes to do whatever I was going to do to save our patient's life. Since I was in charge, I was the one who made the decision to defibrillate, do CPR, give medication. I was in charge until the doctor arrived. I knew that if this pain would hit me during a crisis in our unit, that somebody could lose their life because I was standing there, not able to move. So I went back to the surgeon and I told him that whatever it was that was causing the pain, I wanted him to fix it. If it was the little umbilical hernia, please repair it. So he told me to put myself on the surgery schedule, and on the morning of July 31, 1980, I was wheeled into the operating room for what I anticipated would be a 20-minute procedure. When I woke up several hours later, the surgeon was standing at my bedside, waiting to tell me that I had malignant lymphoma, cancer of the lymph system. He explained that surgery was not a treatment modality for lymphoma, so he didn't remove any of the tumors. He just took biopsies and sent them to pathology to confirm his diagnosis. He told me that what had probably been causing my pain was a large tumor that was pressing on my colon, and at times it would situate itself in such a way that my colon would telescope on itself. And this is when I would have the severe pain. He felt so bad that he had missed this cancer. He told me he went home and read up on lymphoma until 2 o'clock in the morning. A few days after surgery, I was sent to MD Anderson Hospital in Houston. This is the University of Texas Cancer Treatment Center and is the largest of its kind in the U.S. There I was told that not only was my cancer widespread, but that it was incurable. I prayed that the Lord would give me 2 years to live so that I could attend my youngest daughter's high school graduation, because I had attended her brothers and sisters, and I knew how bad she would feel if I wasn't there. I was treated at MD Anderson for 4 years. I even had investigational drugs. One of the drugs that they gave me required that I sign 6 pages of consent forms, releasing everybody in the world from any liability if I died from taking the drug. After 4 years of treatment at MD Anderson, my doctor told me that my disease was out of control and he had nothing more to offer me. But he assured me that he would keep looking for something for me. Everyone I knew had been praying for me for 4 years. But now I had to seriously consider the possibility that I might become another cancer fatality, as so many thousands of others had been. I had large tumors in my neck and a tumor the size of a tennis ball under my left arm. Shortly after that, I received a letter from a friend of mine in California who's also a nurse. And in her letter, she included a sandwich bag of some green powder, a brochure, and an audio tape. She said in her letter that she didn't know if she believed in this stuff or not, but she was taking it and she was feeling good. However, she never said a word about the possibility of this green powder helping my cancer. Later, she told me that she had felt compelled to send this green powder and the information to me. I must tell you that my orientation to medicine was conventional. In nursing school, we had been taught that the only thing that food supplements do for us is to give us very expensive urine. We were taught that if you eat 3 well-balanced meals a day, that this food will supply all the nutrients that you need. Our family ate well. We ate a lot of fruits, vegetables, legumes, and whole grains. I was thankful that I knew how important a good diet was, and I tried to feed my family healthfully. I never took any kind of supplements, never went near a health food store. Green powder was certainly not anything that interested me. In fact, if the Lord hadn't tapped me on the shoulder and told me to listen to the audio tape that my friend had sent, I probably would have eventually just thrown all these materials away and never given it another thought. I listened to the tape and heard a woman tell about how she had been diagnosed with breast cancer. They had removed her breast, and in time the cancer had spread to the lymph nodes in her neck. As her story continued, she became bedridden and was on pain medicine around the clock. Some friends of hers brought her a jar of this green powder just in hopes that it might help her pain. She began using it, and in a few months, her doctor couldn't find any trace of the cancer. Well, most stories that sound too good to be true are usually just that. I thought that possibly this green powder must be some kind of fraud and quackery. But I wondered why the woman on the tape, who identified herself as a farm wife, would tell a story like this. My doctor, who was a well-known cancer researcher and whose picture had just appeared in Time magazine, was looking for something for me. And surely, if this wonderful green powder was out there, he would have known and told me about it. Long story short, I sent off for a jar of this green powder without any expectations that it would do anything for me. I began taking it, and in just 4 days, the large tumor under my arm, which had the consistency of a hard rubber ball, began to soften. And it was the first tumor that went completely away. Within a short time, all my tumors were gone.